be focusing on using VLOOKUP. The V stands for vertical, so vertical lookup. It searches vertically down the first column of a table to find a specified value, and then it returns a corresponding value that we want from one of the columns to the right. The VLOOKUP formula is structured like this, and if we take each part, the first one, lookup value, this is the value that you want to use to start the search off with. Table array is the range of cells that contain your data. Col index num, or the column number, is in that range within your table array, and that's the one that has the information that you want to return. So from left to right, it's about the position. The first one would be number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on. And range lookup, you either put true or false. True is an approximate match, and false is an exact match. Just know that most of the time you'll be using false. An example of what that would look like with real cell references: B13 is our lookup value, B2 to D10 is our table array, col index num is set as 2, and if we know that our table array goes from B to D, the second position, i.e. number 2, that means we're looking up and we're trying to get a value from column C. And as I said before, we either pick true or false, and most of the time we'll put false. So let's try it. In this first example, we have the table of employees. We have ID, name, and department. Let's say I want to find the department for employee ID 103. ID is a great field to use when trying to match across different tables. It will typically be a unique value. Name, on the other hand, wouldn't be such a good choice. If we have more than one employee with the same name, the VLOOKUP formula won't behave as we wish. So to start the formula, we do equals VLOOKUP, open bracket. We then select the lookup value. In this case, we want to use employee ID 103. And we press comma. Next up is table array. We select our full table, which is where our source data is. We press comma. And we want the department, don't we? And so we look at our table and we say, which column is it? It's column 1, 2, 3. And we type in 3. Comma again. And as I mentioned before, most of the time you'll be picking false. Close brackets and press enter. So there we are. Let's check. Employee ID 103 HR. That's correct. Now what that means now is if I change this to 106, let's see. Operations. Perfect. That works. Let's try another one. Now we want department again, but we want to fill out the entire column. And we know that department, the information can be found in our source table on the first tab. So we start as we did before. Equals VLOOKUP, open brackets. We click our first employee ID. That's going to be our lookup value. We press comma, and then we're going to go to our source table. This is our table array. Like we did before, we highlight that. Press comma, and again we want the department. Department is column index number 1, 2, 3. We press 3. Press comma, and then the final choice is false. Close brackets. Great, that works. Let's check. 101, marketing. You may know that if you want to copy out a formula to more than one cell, you can pick that little black box there and pull it down all the way. But in this situation, look what happens. We can see we have some errors here at the bottom. And this is due to something called absolute or relative referencing. I will cover this in more than one video as it's quite an important topic. But just know this relates to the fact that if we look in here, as we go down the formula, we can see that values here change. We want the first value, which is the VLOOKUP, the lookup value, we want that to change. The first one is B3, the next one is B4, B5, and so on. We want that to change as we go down. But if you also look at the table array, B2 to D10, we can see that unfortunately that changes as well. And we actually know that the table array in the first tab is fixed. We don't want that to move. And so we need to make that an absolute reference. We need to make sure that that table is fixed. To do that, we simply go in before the column and before the cell, and we put a dollar sign. As I mentioned, I'll cover this in another video, but for now you do that to the first one, press enter, and if we drag that down again, we should see, perfect, those have all updated correctly. Let's go one final important point. With a VLOOKUP, it can only look to the right of the column you're searching for. So if we are using employee ID to look up the employee name, employee ID needs to be the most left column at the front of the table array. And then the one that we want to return, the name, will be to the right of that. If we try to run this query using the employee ID to find the employee name is in column 1, it's not going to work. We need the lookup value, the employee ID. We need that to be in the first position, and then the value that we want to return should be to the right of that. Employee name is in position 2, and there we have it. So that is the VLOOKUP. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.